G'day folks, my BMW R1200RT isn't going anyplace, and it hasn't done for a while because that thing there, the ABS unit, has spat the dummy and it won't work. I was riding along and I pulled the brakes on and nothing happened. The bike kept going and I went through a set of lights and gave myself a bit of a scare. Went around the corner, pulled up, said what the hell happened then, took off, touched the brakes, everything worked fine. It only failed once, but once your front brakes fail once, you can't trust them again. So I don't trust it. And I've taken it to the mechanic and he said, yeah, sure, no worries, chuck us $4 grand, we'll give you a new ABS unit and then another $500 we'll stick it in. I said, yeah, sure, pal, that's not going to happen. So I've done a bit of online searching and it appears that this can be bypassed. There's brake lines running up from here to a Y piece, which then run up to, I can see it from the other side a bit better, I looked at it earlier, run up to, where they go, that's from the handlebars down, from the brake lever down, that's from the brakes up, so they could be connected at that point. Or I was just having a bit more of a look at it, and it turns out that these two pipes here are brake lever down, or master cylinder down, and down to the actual calipers. Perhaps they could be bypassed at that point, join straight onto the other, cap off the two components there, or the two intakes and outlets, and leave it running. The back brakes still work, the ABS still works on the back brakes. Perhaps that's the bypass I'm looking for. Perhaps even so, that will leave the electronics in place, and hopefully all the things such as the speedo and the brakes and so on will work. One thing I found though about taking it apart, excuse me, is that the standard torque screws, these 6-pointed stars, aren't used on the ABS unit. And if I can zoom in down there, you'll see a little sucker with 5 points on it and a hole in the middle, or a pin in the middle of it. So it's a security type bolt, and never seen one of them, don't know where to get one from. Might be able to find one, don't know. Hopefully I don't have to take this unit out. Hopefully it can sit there and be bypassed. And as for the back brakes, if it's necessary, we've got brake lever, master cylinder just there behind this covering. It then goes up, and into this side, so front brakes, back brakes, goes into this side, so presumably this one comes out, down, around, and into the caliper at the back of it. If that needs to be bypassed, be able to do the same thing again here, if the brakes don't work once that's been repaired. So we've got electronics, 4 servo pumps, or at least 2, but I think it's actually 4, in and out for the front brakes, in and out for the back brakes. And if we can alter these pipes and reconnect them across the top or down the front, and then cap these 2 sections with the right size nut or bolt or whatever it might be, I think we've bypassed the system and hopefully everything will work fine. I'll let you know. G'day folks, BMW R1200RT ABS bypass part 2. Successful, I hope. Instead of changing the cables or the plumbing on top of the ABS unit, my mechanic mate said, forget that altogether. What we'll do instead is take these 2 Benjo fitted braided stainless hoses, brake hoses, off from the handlebar to the in for the ABS, and then from the out to the Y on the front of the forks. And we took those 2 off, measured them up, and had one tube that size made up at that size. Now it goes straight from handlebar down to fork, and it's a closed unit from there, totally bypassing the ABS unit. And in the back, much the same idea. The original hose, that's still the original hose, that went underneath the rubber cover there on the swing arm, and into, where was it? The back of this unit, I think, that's right, the back of this fitting here, and you can see the ABS hose running up there, took it off, looped it up and out of the way so that it won't pinch on anything down here when the swing arm moves, and attached it to the top of the master cylinder for the rear brake pedal. Again, completely closed unit, no ABS involvement. So, and they both work. We've spun the tyres around and pulled the brakes on. ABS unit with the wiring harness into the ABS unit to communicate with the rest of the bike. It's in place. We tried it without that in place, turned the bike on, spun the back wheel around in gear, and the speedo wouldn't turn. The speedo wouldn't work at all. Put that on, straight away the speedo came to life. So that fixed that problem. So now we've got front brakes, back brakes, speedo. Check the lights. There's micro switches in the handles, and down here you can hear the little fella down there. Lights come on, no problem there. The only last thing to do was, and I've already sorted this, is that should glow red at first. It doesn't, because I put a bit of sticky tape or a bit of black gaffer tape over the top of the LED, and the flashing brake fail light doesn't come on because I've cut a piece of rubber and just stuck it in the hole. So it's in there flashing away, but it doesn't annoy me. I can't see it, and it looks like we're back on the road. So what I've got to do is get all of those plasticky bits. While I've got them off, I'll give them a clean. Get all of the plastics, put it all back together, and then I got my bike back. Mind you, looks kind of okay like that, but I will. I'll put it back together. I'm not ready for a cafe racer, I don't think. Once more, BMW R1200RT 2005 Servo Assist. This is the one with the brake fail issue. This is the one that you're going to have problems with. I looked black and blue online to try and find somebody to show me how to do it. Nobody showed me how to do it. It was my mate the mechanic who figured it out. It's easy peasy, and all you need is some nut and bolt skills and the ability to get a brake hose made up by the local brake manufacturer. Well, she's all back together, all polished and shiny. I just took it for a first spin. I went for about, I don't know, 20-30 k's, and the brakes, you definitely notice that the ABS is no longer there. The back brakes lock up quicker. Well, they lock up. There was a couple of little skid events. Mind you, I was really working it. The back brakes lock up a bit quicker. There seems to be a little bit more fork dive than there used to be, and it doesn't quite ride as smooth. I don't know if that's just that I haven't been on a bike for a while. I think there's probably some more adjustments I need to do to the brakes. And the ABS squeals constantly. At a later stage, I might do something about that. I might disconnect the pumps on and just leave the electronics through it. I've seen a YouTube clip on that. But apart from that, my bike is now back together. It's on the road, and I can ride it, and it feels safe. It doesn't feel as safe as it used to, but it still feels plenty safe. It's just a normal bike with normal brakes now, or a very good bike with normal brakes now. And for the $100 it cost me, damn sight better than the $4,000 they were going to charge me for a new ABS unit. Anyway, I'm back on the road. Well, I was about 80% happy with the way the bike ran. Unfortunately, the discs, the front discs, have a bit of run out in them, which means that it hunts. In other words, it sort of surges and lets off and surges and lets off as you're braking. My mechanic friend tells me the only way you can fix that, or the most reliable way to fix that, is to put some new discs and new pads on it, and it looks like that's going to cost me about $500. So I think that's money well spent, and hopefully that'll get the bike running as smooth as it used to. Anyway, let you know.